Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm Zelp and today we are going to talk about the damage increase from different houses, like for example Vadar, Kosnok. It has that bonus weapon damage of 27.3%, how that actually applies to the value, the damage value. I'm also going to talk about how that actually stacks with your avionics damage for turrets. Now the whole reason for this is because in a previous video I mentioned that the value doesn't make any sense, simply because if you look at just the plasma value from a base damage of 37 to a plasma value of 77.1, that is way more than just a 27.3% damage increase. It looks more like slightly more than 100% damage increase. And whereas if you look at the chemical damage increase, it also looks like it's slightly more than 27.3%. Now before I continue and say what's going on, let's take a look at how it's kind of supposed to be. We're going to look at the Vadar Cryophon over here. So it has a base of 4.407k, and then it has a bonus of 33.1%. So let's try and make that make sense. So if I were to increase a base value of 4.407k and I increase it by 33.1%, it should give me 5.865k. And if you look over here, exactly on the dot, 5.865k. So we know that this works perfectly. And since we are here, let's put on a turret damage avionics hyperstrike, and this is going to give me 121% turret damage. So how would that translate? If I were to take this and I increase this straight away by 121%, this means that it's going to do 221% damage. So I can just times this by 2.21. I should be doing about 12.963k damage. So if I come back over here, click on this, you can see over here is 12.962. It's close enough. It's one damage difference. We'll call it as it's meant to be this way. This means that it's not in the same multiplier, so it's gonna increase another fold depending on the percentage. Okay, so this is good. The problem comes when there is an extra damage type. So for example, if we look at the Vadar Kosnok, so we're coming in here again. Okay, now, before we do that, let's remove the hyperstrike so they don't get confused with the value, and work on simpler values first. So over here you can see that its base is again 37 for plasma, chemical 111. So how is that going to translate? So this is where I cannot take credit for what I'm about to tell you, because this is something that someone else did his research and he saw the pattern, he told me about it. So I would like to give credit to that guy on YouTube. And in case you guys are wondering why am I not saying his name, I am. He is literally that guy. All I pretty much did was read his comment and came in to test it out with a few different weapons like the Kosnok. I also have a Vadar Epoch, which I also tested, and it seems like his theory is correct, and I'm here to share with you guys. Okay, so what he's pretty much suggesting is that if you were to add up the plasma and the chemical together, so in this case 37 plus 111, right? So plus 37, you get 148. The increment of 148 by 27.3% is, so now we want to find out how much it would increase and not in total. So we're gonna times 0.271, was it 1? I don't remember. Oh, it's 3. Okay, you get an extra 40 damage. Alright, now if you come back over here and look at the base, if you take 37 and you increase the 37 plasma damage and you increase it by 40, you actually get 77. So therefore it makes sense. Now the plasma damage that's increased, 77, makes sense. If you take the chemical damage, 111 damage, and you increase it by about 40, you'll get roughly about 150 as well. So that makes sense as well. Now let's figure out what this actually means for us. This means that the damage is actually double dipping in a weird way, because instead of having the overall damage increase by 27.3%, which gives you an extra 40 damage, you are actually increasing roughly double the 27.3%. So you're gonna get like quick max 54%, right? Overall, because it's applying to each of your weapon types. So you have plasma and chemical, so you get extra 40 damage for plasma, extra 40 damage for the chemical. This means that it would seem, so far at least, for houses like for weapons that has 2 different damage type, this one works really well. Now, however, there is something interesting that I like to talk about where I may actually feel like this is not a bug. The reason why is because of the Cryophon. Now, the Cryophon, although we already discussed and how it works and all that, the damage bonus cap is higher. So why is it higher than the rest? Why does this, that probably like the only weapon that has 1 damage type, has double the weapon damage bonus, up to 60% instead of up to 30%. So this leads me to believe that somehow DE knows of this problem, and because of that they increased the damage cap for the Cryopon, because otherwise it won't be fair for the Cryopon. So right now it seems like they are somehow in equal terms, even though the Cryopon has only 1 damage type, but its weapon damage can go up to 60%, whereas those with 2 damage types only reach 30%, but it's double dipping. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Do you think it's a bug? Do you think it's intended? Or maybe it's like a kind of a both thing. Like maybe they did something, they don't know how to undo it, so in order to fix it, they buff something else. Now before we end, we also need to talk about how this would work with the Voynix. So if I were to add back the Hyper Strike, that gives you extra 121. We're gonna see how this translates. What this actually does is what we would think it does. It works very normally. So I'm going to let's take the plasma damage again. So from 37, right, we add by 40 because of all the things that we did before just now, and we got 77. And from 77, if we increase that by 221% because of the Voynix, then we get 170 damage. And over here you can see 170 damage. And same goes for the chemical as well. If you want to double check, I can do it for you really quick right now. So it starts off as 111, you plus that by 40, you get about 150. Then you increase this by this much because of Voynix, and you get about 333. So 334, close enough. So for today's video, it's kind of technical. I hope that it will somehow help you guys understand how the damage works. I would also like to thank that guy for his comment, because without his comment, we probably won't be talking about it today. And for being so technical, you are officially in my Warframe Elite team. Wet for short, no pun intended, maybe just a little bit, and I don't really have such team. You are also eligible to get a glyph code from me if you so choose. All you have to do is DM me on Discord. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you guys have a pleasant day. Bye bye. I also see you guys tomorrow.